quoted the line from the Hindu scripture, the Bhagavad Gita. Vishnu is trying to persuade the prince that he should do his duty, and to impress him takes on his multi-armed form and says, "Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds."
Yesterday, in the quiet town of Pahalgam, a place known for its mountains, not its violence, shots rang out, tourists ambushed, civilians killed. And somewhere, deep inside the heart of New Delhi, a question echoed. Do we strike back? I am Ryan, and you're watching For All Mankind, and today we are going to understand what happens if a war breaks out between the two nuclear powers in South Asia. What happens if India attacks Pakistan tomorrow? Could it escalate to a nuclear war? Could it pull in other superpowers and spark a worldwide conflict? Because if India attacks Pakistan tomorrow, the world might never be the same. The latest attack in Pahalgam wasn't random. Security officials suspect it was planned, with possible support from groups operating across the border. This isn't new. It's part of a decades-long pattern. But this time, the stakes are higher. In February 2019, 40 Indian soldiers were killed. India responded with the Balakot airstrikes. Pakistan retaliated. Jets were downed, pilots captured, and yet, somehow, cooler heads prevailed, and war was averted. But what if this time around, the situation escalates? If India attacks tomorrow, it won't be random. Key targets would likely include terror camps, Pakistani military posts, and strategic communication hubs. India has the upper hand in conventional strength. More troops, more tanks, better air power, and with lessons learned from Balakot, the strike could be surgical, swift, and decisive. But here's the risk. Pakistan's military doctrine allows the use of nuclear weapons even in response to conventional attacks. The world now watches a standoff, where one miscalculation could trigger a mushroom cloud. India follows a no-first-use nuclear policy. Pakistan does not. If Pakistan feels cornered, if it believes regime survival is at risk, it could deploy tactical nukes on advancing Indian forces. That's not theory. That's policy. India would be forced to respond, not tactically, but massively. In under 24 hours, both countries could be devastated. But that's only the beginning. A war between India and Pakistan won't stay regional.
President Trump will be speaking with Prime Minister Modi as soon as he possibly can to express his heartfelt condolences for those lost. And our prayers are with those injured and our nation's support for our ally, India. These types of horrific events by terrorists are why those of us who work for peace and stability in the world continue our mission.
China, which borders both nations and has its own tensions with India, may not remain neutral. The United States, with deep military ties to Pakistan, but a strategic partnership with India, would face immense pressure to act. Meanwhile, global early warning systems would mistake missile launches. False alarms could trigger retaliatory alerts in Russia, China, and even the United States. And in this digital age, war doesn't take days. It takes minutes. A full-scale nuclear war in South Asia would kill over 100 million people in the first few hours. But the real killer comes after. Smoke and soot from burning cities would rise into the stratosphere, blocking sunlight, lowering global temperatures, triggering what scientists call a nuclear winter. In just 1 year, up to 2 billion people could face famine. Oceans acidify, the ozone layer collapses, and nations nowhere near South Asia would suffer. From the U to Africa to Europe. In short, Earth survives, but humanity might not. Let's say the worst is avoided. Let's say both sides pull back after a limited strike. The consequences are still enormous. Thousands dead, billions lost, global markets collapse. South Asia becomes a radioactive no-go zone. Borders might be redrawn, regimes might fall, and trust, once broken at the nuclear level, is nearly impossible to rebuild. India has the military edge, but war isn't about who wins a battle. It's about what's left after the war ends. And if the war is nuclear, there may be no winners. Peace isn't weakness. In the nuclear age, it's survival. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to For All Mankind for more such deep dives. Stay curious.